You're welcome to Learn Maths with me. In this channel, I'll be taking you through in-depth tutorials covering a wide range of topics from basic arithmetic to advanced maths. If you're new on this channel, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And to my returning subs, I'd like to say a very big thank you. Today, we'll be taking a look at probability. What is probability? Probability is a way of expressing the likelihood of an event occurring. And we can express it as a fraction, as a decimal, or a percentage. For example, if I have a jar with 6 counters in, the probability of me selecting a yellow counter will be 3/6 because I have 3 yellow and then the total number of counters are 6. I can also express it as 1/2 or 50% or 0.5. Now, probability is simply the likelihood of an event occurring divided by the total number of outcomes that we can get. The probability of me rolling a 6 on this dice is the number of outcomes is 6 because the dice has 6 faces with numbers 1 to 6. Now, if I roll it once, I have a probability of getting a 6 one time, which is 1/6. The way I have a probability of getting a 6, I also have a probability of getting other numbers apart from 6. So the probability of getting a 6 will be expressed as 1/6. Now, what is the probability of me rolling an even number on the dice? The total number of outcomes of rolling it still remains 6. And then the number of possible outcomes is 3 because we have 3 even numbers. So the probability of rolling an even number on this dice is 3/6, which is also the same thing as 1/2. Now let's take a look at the probability of me rolling a 7 on the dice. We know that we don't have 7. So even if I roll the dice from now till tomorrow, I would never come up with a 7. So the probability of me getting 7 is the number of possible outcomes is 0, and then the total number of outcomes is 6. So the probability of me getting 7 on the dice is 0. Dice is rolled is 1/6. And the probability of not getting a 6 is 1 minus 1/6, which is 5/6. So probability is always between 0 and 1. Whenever we have 0, that means it is an impossible event. The probability of the event happening is impossible. And then whenever we have 1, that means it is a certain event. The probability of the event happening is certain. Now let's take a look at another example. I have a jar here and I have 6 counters in the jar. What is the probability of selecting a red counter? If I pick one counter at random, what is the probability that the counter I'm going to pick is going? Looking at the counters, we can see that we have 2 red counters and then we have 6 counters in all. So if I pick a counter, the probability of picking a red counter will simply be 2, which is the total number of red counters that I have, over 6, which is the total number of counters I have in all. So the probability of getting a red counter is 2/6, which is also 1/3. Now, what is the probability of not selecting a red counter? If the probability of selecting a red counter is 2/6, then the probability of not selecting a red counter is 1 minus 2/6, which is 4/6. Now let's take a look at the jar. If you decide to count the non-red counters, you'll find out that we have 4. I have 1 blue, 1 green, 1 white, and 1 black. So the probability that what I've selected is not red will be one of these 4. So that will be 4/6, which is also equals to 2/3. Now, if you toss a coin, what is the probability of getting a tail? For a coin, we have 2 options. It's either you get a head or a tail. If you toss a coin, what is the probability of getting a tail? Because the total number of outcomes that we can get is 2, which is either a head or a tail. But we want to find out what is the probability of getting a tail. So the number of possible outcomes, if we are narrowing it down to just getting a tail, is 1. So the probability of getting a tail is simply 1/2. If you toss a coin twice, What is the probability of getting 2 tails? Now let's look at the number of possible outcomes and the total number of outcomes that we have in this case. We have total number of outcomes to be 4 because if we toss it twice, we can either get a head and a head, or a head and a tail, or a tail and a head, or a tail and a tail. So the total number of outcomes is 4. Now the number of possible outcomes, which is getting 2 tails, from this is just 1. So we have that the number of possible outcome is 1, and the probability therefore is 1 over 4. Now, I have a question for you, and it reads, if I roll 2 dice at the same time, what is the probability that the sum of the 2 numbers will be less than 10? I want you to try your hands on this and drop your answers in the comment section. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.